Today is Be Kinder Day, so to those you like and those you like less, be a little nicer to them. Hey guys, it's Gilbert, your blogger, writing consultant and the author to the upcoming fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter, and today we're going to look at part 2 on how to create a memorable secondary character. But before we go any further with today's content, hit that subscribe button. In part 1 of the same subject, we looked at the first 3 tips on how to create a memorable secondary character. These included: decide how many secondary characters there will be in your story and what their roles will be, decide the secondary character's goal and the reason for it, and decide the secondary character's endpoint, all with the relevant examples. Now we shall look at a further 3 tips on how to create a secondary character that your audience will just want to see more of. Tip 4. Decide the story arc for each secondary character. While not as ostensibly as important as the main characters, each secondary character must still have a story arc. They must develop as a result of the experiences they go through over the course of the story and be a different person at the end of the story to who they were at the start of it. Take for example Ron Weasley. At the start of the Harry Potter series, he just wants to win Quidditch matches for his house, Gryffindor, and be head boy to emulate his older brother. But over the course of the 7 books and 8 films, he develops romantic feelings for Hermione after spending much time with her and ends up the film married to her and having children with her. Our second example is Terence Fletcher, played by J.K. Simmons, from the film Whiplash. At the start of the movie, Terence is the chief conductor at Schaefer College, a fictional academy for elite musicians. But because of his treatment to his pupils, particularly the main character Andrew,
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. If you deliberately sabotage my band, I will you like a pig. Now, are you a rusher, or are you a dragger, or are you going to be on my time?
Fletcher ends up losing his job, starting a band, and only then achieving what he has been looking for this whole time: the next Buddy Rich. Tip 5. Decide each secondary character's positive and negative traits. This is the start of what makes a character complex, as by nature, people are complex. Writers should aspire to give their secondary characters a mix of positive and negative traits, as we shall see from our examples. Our first example is Rudd Threetrees from Joe Abercrombie's The First Law trilogy. Rudd is a respected leader of a group of outlaws fighting against King Bethard. Rudd is a skilled fighter, an even better scouter, and he's quite funny in a crude kind of way. But he is also honourable and trustworthy of those around him, making him a borderline fool considering those around him are neither honourable nor trustworthy. Example 2 is Littlefinger from A Song of Ice and Fire. In the books, he comes across as charming, friendly, always willing to help, and incredibly politically savvy. Yet he is also a sociopath, a pathological liar, and is willing to sacrifice anyone for his insatiable ambitions. His personality traits have led him to accrue royal favour, to become the Lord of Harrenhal and the Lord Protector of the Eyrie by the end of the 5th instalment, A Dance with Dragons. It remains to be seen if Littlefinger's personality traits will result in the same demise for him at Sansa's orders as they did in the TV show Game of Thrones, although I pray not.
Sansa, I beg you. I loved your mother since the time I was a boy.
And yet you betrayed her.
I loved you more than anyone.
Anything will be better than the wimpy child end that he got there. Besides, why didn't he just ask for a trial by combat? It's not like there weren't precedent for it.
I demand a trial by combat.
I demand a trial by combat.
By the way, if you are interested in reading a book with excellent secondary characters, check out N.M. Thorn's The Salamander Chronicles, and in particular, look out for Cal and Agent Andrews. Both are brilliant characters. Check out N.M. Thorn's The Salamander Chronicles, that is N.M. Thorn, The Salamander Chronicles. I have left a link in the description below to her books and to the interview that I did with N.M. Thorn last year. Tip 6. Decide each secondary character's flaw. In real life, people are flawed. It's what makes us three-dimensional, and the same must be true for each of your secondary characters, only in your story, the secondary character's flaw must be linked to the plot. Let's look at Raven Mystique from X-Men First Class. In Matthew Vaughn's fantastic reboot of the X-Men franchise back in 2011, Raven Mystique is unable to come to terms with her blue form. She doesn't like the way her body looks. This causes her much distress, unhappiness, and insecurity throughout the course of the narrative. As a result, she ends up leaving Professor X, Charles Xavier, and joins Magneto, Eric Lenscher, because he gives her an outlet. Our second example is Barbara Hershey's Erica from Black Swan. In Darren Aronofsky's great psychological thriller, Erica cannot come to terms with her past failures as a ballerina. As a result, she pushes her daughter, Nina, played by Natalie Portman, incredibly hard, controls her, in order to achieve what she did not. This partly explains why Nina is a brilliant ballerina, but it also explains why Nina is emotionally immature, mentally unstable, and has a complete psychotic breakdown 3/4 of the way through the film. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this video on how to create a memorable secondary character. I hope you have found it useful and interesting. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. As it's Be Kinder Day today, don't forget to be a little kinder to those around you or the people you come across. Seriously. It doesn't hurt, and it's a nice thing to do, and it makes the world a better place. Moreover, come the 2nd of July, my debut fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter, is going to be released, and then you can check to see whether or not I keep to my own writing tips. See you for part 3. Until then, keep well. Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button, and then you will be the first to receive more awesome content from my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.